How many of you actually are in the lawn care business every day, applying a product?
Say aye.
Say aye.
Say aye.
Just James. James,
Every
only
day.
one. Every day.
I work Sundays today, this week.
Oh, no, James.
Well, that is actually, I'm hearing a lot of people having to pull those 7 days a week now, which is crazy, man, but it's what we got to do to get stuff done. Anyway, calculating your turfgrass management program. Seeding season on the way. So what we're going to do tonight, we will work together on some common pesticide calculations. We're actually going to figure our program based on a fictitious company, of having I think we do 5,000 lawns, maybe 500, I don't know. But we take this fictitious company and we calculate, total square footage, and we come up with a per application cost for our fertility apps, and then we do our plug-in and seeding cost. So it's can get quite expensive, the number of yards that you have. But the one thing I love about lawn care, it is super profitable. And it is the one job that if I was going to do by myself, if I was going to have no employees and I wanted to get out and be in the field every day, lawn care apps would be my first choice. I would not mow by myself. I would do the fertility apps, because if it rains, nobody's going to get mad that you didn't fertilize their yard. But if it rains 2 or 3 days a week and you're mowing 5 days and you're by yourself, you're going to have some angry customers. You guys will calculate some basic problems on your own in the second hour, and then we will calculate the lawn care program totaling all products used. And so that is first and foremost, is that we calculate our cost on these products. Now, prices fluctuate year to year. Like I said, seeds up, 18, 24, 12 is up. And I've got it in my other little notebook. I'll get it on break and tell you what Site One quoted us about 3 weeks ago. And I was supposed to call them last Wednesday to get our firm price on what we could purchase, in bulk from them but I forgot to do that. So I need to reach back out to them. But they were pricing out the door 1 bag of seed, 1 bag of fertilized. And then we will review some pesticide labels to find application rates. So, James, how many applications do you do in your company?
On a weekly basis?
No, like, per customer. You have a customer.
Eight. I do 8.
You're doing 8. Okay. And where are you located at? Are you warm season or cool season?
Cool season. I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Wow. No kidding, dude. Where at?
South side off of Hickory Tree Road.
Okay. What's the name of your company?
Imperial Landscaping.
Imperial Landscaping. Okay. Is your trucks gray?
Yes, sir.
With like a lime green lettering on it?
That's us.
Right. Okay. I see you all the time, man. Cool deal. Yeah, we're up around Wake Forest, so not too far from you.
Oh yeah, we're neighbors.
Yep. It's a good deal. All right, so let's look at our January, February applications. We're going to do our soil test. That is first and foremost. So first of the year, even in December or whatever, you can actually start jumping on your soil test. We don't start doing ours until January. We'll have, at least one of our employees go and do that for us. So we're still busy taking down Christmas lights up until February, but we will get those soil tests in. What we were quoted last year at this time, that it's going to cost us $16.95 per soil test at Site One. I like using Site One because they can get them turned fast. We don't have to wait on the state or anything like that. Plus, we'll get the results emailed to us, and we can base our lime applications on these soil tests. With CalTurf Pro, cost is going to be around $15. I haven't quoted it here recently, but this is what we were paying for it back in January. So I do need to check that price again. But for this class and this purpose, we are going to use $15 per 50-pound bag, and it's going to give us 10,000 square feet of coverage. So if you do have, a notepad or anything like that, we'll start writing down some of these numbers, because that's how we are going to calculate our turfgrass program. We're going to have $15, $15 per bag, and we're going to get 10,000 square feet. Now, if we want to jump up and spend a little bit of more money, we can do the SoluCal Plus, which is going to, really get the lime kicked off. And that's going to cost us $50 per 50-pound bag. I'd much rather use this just for the reduced dust intake. But, $50 can get expensive depending on what that soil test results are. Our CalTurf is 15. Our SoluCal is going to be $50. That is January, Feb. When we get into the February, March, we can start off, first application being Stonewall, the Barricade, which we can use a 1706 30% SCU. This is our first round of pre-emergent. The timing of the application should be made according to the soil temps. Creates a barrier that prevents crabgrass and other weeds from germinating, and at the same time applies 3/4 pound of nitrogen to the soil. Another first good round analysis would be 25-2-5 or a 13-2-5. But we're going to get 12,500 square feet of coverage per bag, and it's going to cost us around $22 for the 50-pound bag. So we'll write down Feb, March. And we're putting down the Stonewall. And we've got $22 bag of 12,500. Second round, April, Mayish. We can do a Barricade or Dimension. We can do a Barricade 1307 or a 1706 or a 1325 30% Dimension. This is the second round of a pre-emergent and is a very critical round. This application overlaps with the first to give crabgrass and weed control through late August. Another good choice is 5-10-20, or if you prefer no nitrogen, you can use 007, and it will give you 12,500 square feet per bag. So again, same type of coverage. But our April, May app, it's going to give us 12,500. And I'm believing that. I'll have to look it up on the worksheet, but I'm thinking it's going to be around 22 a bag as well. Now, in this program, I I charge for the soil test just like I would an application. So we're already at 3 apps right there. Go for the soil test, then we go for our first pre-emergent, or second, and even lime. So we're at 4 apps right here so far. June, July, you can do a 15-3-7, 30%, or a 50% organic, or 1.5% iron, or a 5-0-20 with 10% iron. This application is primarily for irrigated turf or other turf that is not under stress. The iron in this application will green up the grass and will help with summer stress. We're going to use 20. Spend $20 a bag, and it's going to give us 10,000 square feet. Now, when we say grass is stressed, you know, tall fescue, it's going to get stressed in the heat. Just the way it is. We are here in that transition zone, and you know, our fescues, it's going to get stressed. And another time, if you're picking up a new customer in June, July timeframe because they're unhappy with, you know, their previous lawn care company, you can go ahead and throw some lime out. Lime will also kind of help. You want to lime it when the grass is stressed, and that's kind of why we do it in the wintertime as well, because it is cold, and even, you know, tall fescue is a cool season grass. If it is really cold out there, that lime kind of, it just helps. It's better to do that when your grass is in stress. So winter stress or the summer stress, if you pick it up, that's when you'd want to use that Solucal so you can get, you know, quicker results. But it's an application that you can hit if you pick up a client this time of year as well. The one thing I'll tell our customers, we picked up a new commercial account and they just built the building, and the GC, you know, all they threw down was some erosion control seeding. So a lot of ryegrass that's come up and already died in this heat. And so there's a lot of crabgrass, goosegrass, and even nutsedge coming up. And they are just frantic about getting their lawn in tip-top shape. And I'm like, you're going to have to give us some time. And luckily we picked the account up last week. So we do, you know, we've got it here at the perfect time with plugging and seeding, you know, right around the corner. But I told them, I said, it's going to take us a full year of applications, you know, to get this turf grass to where you want it to be. It just doesn't happen overnight. People think when they hire a lawn care company that it's immediately one application is all they need, and it's going to be, you know, golf course results, but that's never the case.
Tell me about it.
It's hard, man, and it's hard to convince them. And this client, you know, they're in Charleston, and, you know, so they're all warm season grass. And so when I'm starting to talk about overseeding with fescue and stuff, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, different grasses, different region. You're just going to have to trust us on that. September, October, you know, our starter fertilizer with a Lesco type landscaper's choice seed. Fall is the best time to renovate and reseed your turf. Use the premium turf type seed blend and starter fertilizer to improve color and density of the new turf, as well as aid in winter hardiness. And you're going to get about 12,000 square feet per bag. You know, here we got 1822 or the 1824-14. I prefer the 1824-12. But you know, here we're quoting it at 40, at 20, but they were a couple weeks ago right at $40. So it was almost doubled. But for this purposes and with the math that we've already calculated, we're going to keep everything at 20. It would just be doubling it based on that. But I'm thinking that was one bag out the door. I think buying it by the truckload or by the pallet, we are going to get a significant lowering of that price. It's not going to be near 40. It might be closer to 30, but I think it's still going to be in the 20s for that. Now, I know they're also using 18, I think they were using an 1824-2 as well, which they were still around $24 a bag for that. But it's going to give us 12,000 square feet. Or 1824, 12, $20 and 12,000 square feet. Seed 10 to 12,000 square feet, roughly 80. But more over $100 right now. And I like figuring it at the 10,000 square foot rate versus the 12. And then you got to calculate how long it's going to take you to plug it, or if you aerate it. Anybody know the difference between plugging and aeration? What do y'all use? Y'all use stand-up pluggers, walk-behind pluggers, aerators?
I use both.
You use both. You got to stand up right on.
Yeah, I got a Kubota with an aerator in the back.
Man, that is the ticket. I love Aeravator First Products.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
things, you could sow grass in concrete with one of those.
You got that right.
Right.
You drop the Aeravator on any type of hard surface, man. It's going to punch holes in it. So love it. We had an 80-inch and then a 36-inch or 48, and then went to the 60-inch on the back of a little John Deere. So love it, man. They've even got a walk behind the aerator now. That would be a little rough to handle, probably.
Yeah, I would say so.
As much as those things vibrate, but I love them, man. I love First Products. And then in November, December, we are looking at a 25% SCU or 50% organic, 1.5 iron, or a 2803. We used to use a lot of 24-511 this time of year as well. This round gives a turf a full pound of nitrogen going into the winter to help the turf maintain its color and to green up quicker in the spring. Now, this round right here, I think, is key. You can tell the difference in lawns that don't get this late feeding come early spring. The ones that do get it are going to be lush. They're going to be darker. They're just going to look a whole lot better than the ones that do not get this round. So I believe it's one of the most important. But you're going to get 14,000 square foot coverage, and again, around $18 for a 50-pound bag. All right. Now, if we've got any broadleaf weeds, and if we have time, we'll kind of get through some of these problems as well. But, for grassy and broadleaf weeds, Q4 Plus, it's just a product we use. I'm not endorsing them or anything like that. It just works well for us. But roughly 2.5 gallon jug, 325. Let's say a little bit more now. Speed Zone, 2.5 gallons for 220. There's no telling how many gallons of this stuff I have personally sprayed. Always got a headache when I did it. And because you don't necessarily have to wear the respirator putting this stuff out, but it is definitely good to do it. And once I started figuring that out, I no longer got headaches. So with our program that we are going to calculate, we are going to have this company that is taking care of 5,000 lawns. Now, that is a good target goal to get. Anybody ever heard of the lawn care millionaire down in Texas? He jumped up to like 5,000 yards quickly mowing them. And the good thing about them is they mow year round. And his story's cool, man. You just have to look him up on YouTube. They're well above 5,000 lawns now, taking care of them. But, you know, good numbers to work with here. And it's easy to round off with the 5,000. The average square foot of these lawns is 8,320 square feet. This is the average size lawn in the Raleigh area. I did a full day course one time at NC State with Dr. Reynolds. He's down at Texas A&M now, and he was stating that the average lawn size in the Raleigh area was 8,320. So with 5,000 lawns, we're managing a lot of square footage of turf there. We're going to look at how much the product for each round in the program is going to cost us. Then we're going to figure out the cost for each application, our labor rates in the program. And then what is your total cost of product for each round? And what is your total cost of products for the year? And what is your total labor cost for the year? Now, everybody's labor rate is different. Overhead is different. And it's, you know, if you're doing the rounds yourself, you know, that's, you know, you're saving money. You're not having to pay out as much for labor. And the one thing about us as business owners, we're going to get the stuff done a whole lot faster. So anytime we have employees, we spend more money. And that's why I like lawn care. And I tell students at the college, seriously, with a backpack sprayer and a push fertilized spreader, I mean, $100 for this backpack, $300 for the Lesco spreader, under $500, you are in business in the lawn care business. And if you got to go rent the walk behind or stand up plugger at Home Depot, they've got the stand up aerators, the ride-ons that you can actually rent. So, you know, with a pesticide license and those two pieces of equipment, you are definitely in business. And so let's look at a problem right here. Can y'all see that good? Is that blown up enough? We have determined we're going to calculate an application rate. So it's a basic math problem when it comes to pesticides. You have determined from a calibration test that your boom sprayer delivers 10 gallons of water over a 1/4 acre test area. You need to apply a pesticide product to a 10-acre field, and the pesticide label recommends that 4 ounces of liquid product be added to give a desired finished spray mixture of 1 gallon. There's 128 ounces in a gallon. How much spray volume and how much product is needed? So step 1, how much spray mixture is needed for the 10-acre application area? Always use information from the calibration test. In this example, 10 gallons of water was used over a 1/4 acre calibration test site. So 10 over 1/4 of an acre, 0.25. We do our cross multiplications. We're going to know how many gallons per 10 acres. We do the cross multiplication. So we have 100, 10 times 10, divided by 0.25. So we need 400 gallons of spray mixture. Now that's total spray mixture. So that's water and pesticide. Step 2, how much pesticide product is needed to make up 400 gallons of spray mixture? We're going to use the label rate of 4 ounces of product per 1 gallon of spray. So we know we got 400 gallons, and we're going to multiply that times 4 ounces of liquid pesticide product. So we got 1,600 ounces of product. How many gallons of product are needed? Remember, 128 ounces is a gallon. So 1,600 divided by 128, we need 12.5 gallons of product. So our final result, to treat the 10 acres, we need a total final spray mix of 400 gallons that includes the 0.5 gallons of concentrated product. So we need water. We need 380. No. We need 387.5 gallons of water. And then we throw in the 12.5 gallons of concentrated product. So we don't, a lot of the times people do not subtract out from the total spray mixture the 12.5 gallons that they need. If we were to put the 12.5 gallons into 400 gallons of water, what happens to our solution? We're diluting it. And we're not applying the correct amount of pesticide. What may happen to this application? It's going to fail more than likely because we're putting out too little. And does it cost us more if we apply too little or if we apply too much? Or does it cost us money either way? They both cost us money. If we apply too much product, it's going to hurt the checkbook because some of this stuff gets very expensive. And if we apply too little to the property, what are we more than likely going to have to go back and do?
Redo it.
Go back and redo it. Mr. and Miss Smith are not happy with us. They want us to come and do it again. And that ain't cool. That ain't cool. Oops. Tim, Kathy, I know you guys can hear me. You're sitting there in the room waiting for me to let me for me to let you share your mic. There we go. Cool deal. All right. Now, let's look at some more problems. Here's a typical problem. And look, we got close to an 8,000 square foot home loan. How much would an application of Barricade 65 WDG water dispersible granulars cost for an 8,000 square foot home loan if the labeled rate is 1 pound active ingredient per acre and Barricade 65 WDG is $39.95 per pound? How much would an application of granular combination product cost for the same lawn at the same rate? And so we're going to see this problem again at the end, but it's a very simple way to calculate this. We start with what we have to get to what we want. And what we do have is an 8,000 square foot lawn. And we're trying to get to that dollar sign. So we're going to do a math problem that will do some cross multiplication and cancel each other out. So when using dry formulations, the number on the label refers to the percent active ingredient by weight. So this example, Barricade 65 WDG is 65% by weight prodiamine active ingredient. Therefore, 100 pounds of it contains 65 pounds prodiamine. 1 pound of Barricade contains 0.65 pounds of prodiamine. So we get a lot of information just by the name of the product that we're using. So that 65% is in the actual name of the product, Barricade 65 WDG. When using liquid formulations, the number on the label refers to the pounds of active ingredient per gallon of product. So, for example, Barricade 4FL has 4 pounds prodiamine active ingredient per 1 gallon. So if we purchase a 2.5 gallon jug of it, we're going to get 10 pounds of prodiamine. 4 pounds active ingredient per gallon times 2.5 gallons gives us the 10 pounds active ingredient. So anybody want to take a stab at what this type of math is caused or called? Not caused. It's called dimensional analysis. So how do we incorporate this information into sprayer, spreader, cost calculations? And it is with dimensional analysis. Start with what we have to get to what we want. So first of all, before we get to even to this spot, we've got to calibrate our equipment. In calibrating our equipment, when should we calibrate it?
Before you mix the chemicals.
Do what, Tiffany?
Before you mix the chemicals.
Yeah. I mean, every day before we mix, we need to calibrate. Now, the state of North Carolina, in our pesticide manuals, they say we need to calibrate more than once a day. That gets a little tough, but can anybody give me an example when we would want to calibrate more than once a day? If we change product, if we're putting out one product in the morning and we're going back and putting out more product in the afternoon that's different, we need to recalibrate that equipment. Our core manual says we need to calibrate from job to job. And that's impossible. That's impossible. We can't do that. I would freak out if I was to pull up to a job site and see my guys out there calibrating in the street with a fertilized spreader. But have you ever thought about this? Just think about it today, and I experienced it firsthand because I was in the field. I was all right at like 8:45 running a weed eater. I was fine up until about 10 o'clock. What happened to me around 11 o'clock?
Slow down.
I was slowing down. I was getting a little tired. The temperature was going up. I was sweating. I was like, man, come on lunchtime. And then what did I do at lunch, which was dumb of me?
You drank.
Huh? I went to La Coretta and I ate way too much. A big old burrito, and I shouldn't have done that. So I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, my speed after lunch was slowing down. But what if I was pushing a fertilizer spreader? What's the average walking speed of someone pushing a fertilizer spreader?
2 miles per hour.
Yeah, 2 to 3 miles an hour. It is. And then somebody with short legs is going to be around 2. You know, a little bit taller individuals going to be around 3 miles an hour. Well, what happens at lunch when you get your belly full and it's hotter in the afternoon and you're tired? That 3 mile an hour walker, they could be slowing down to 1.5 miles.
In this heat, it's a major slowdown.
Major slowdown. So if I'm walking half the speed, what am I doing to my application rate?
Putting too much out.
Huh?
Putting too much out.
Putting too much out. If I'm going half, I'm doubling my application rate. Now, what do you think happens with our crews when it gets around 4 o'clock and they look on their route sheet and they see they got 2 more yards, 3 more yards to do before they get home? What are they doing with that spreader?
Running.
And if they're doubling their speed, that 3 mile an hour individual, he might be at like 2 miles an hour, or 5 miles an hour. Well, man, he is cutting that application rate in half. I need this individual. I was watching track and field over the weekend. There were individuals running 3.5-minute miles. Can you imagine pushing a fertilizer spreader at that speed? You get a lot of work done, couldn't we? So that blew my mind. At like 3 minutes and 45 seconds, somebody running a mile. And there were several of them. It wasn't just 1 or 2. It was like the whole crowd. But we got to calibrate our equipment, and we have to be mindful that our crews and employees do get tired. They get wore out, especially late in the afternoon. And it just might be worth it either not to put the fertilizer out, or if we are, we need to recalibrate some equipment. Any other times we might want to recalibrate?
When it falls off the truck. No,
Do what?
nothing.
James, what's our area like here in Winston-Salem? Like we're
Hectic.
it is hectic, yeah. But hey, we've got yards that are super flat, and
For the most part.
then we've got some yards that are, hilly. Just
Yeah.
because of where we're at. We're not on the coast where everything's flat. So we've got some yards here that are 100% flat, zero slope. And then the further we go out towards, you go out towards Statesville or that area, you've got some rolling hills. And so you've got a lot of sloped yards. You would either want to calibrate the equipment for your sloped hills and only work on those that day. And then if you're on the flat grounds, you'd calibrate for that. Whatever it is that you're doing, you need to calibrate your equipment on terrain that is very, very similar. And which piece of equipment gets out of calibration the quickest? The push spreader, the granular spreader. We don't take care of it enough. Even if we put it in one of those receiver hitches, it's going to bounce up and down and go over railroad tracks and, hit speed bumps and stuff like that. It gets knocked out very, very quickly. All right. In here, let's look at this. How much would 5 truckloads of beer cost? And y'all will be able to figure this out because y'all are thinking beer. And I see some cups going up. So I don't know what's in those cups. Maybe it is a cold beer. But how much would 5 truckloads of beer cost when delivered to a convenience store if there are 1,000 20-ounce drinks per truck and they cost 5 cents per ounce? This is a problem that we set up exactly the way we would for lawn care. We're starting with what we have to get to where we want. What we are starting with is 5 truckloads. Where we want to go is to figure out how much that is going to cost us. So we're going from truckloads to dollar signs. And we're going to set it up just like this. We have our truckloads. We're going to take it to cost. So beginning with the unit that you have, proceed to the unit that you want by canceling out with units through multiplication. The 5 truckloads, 1,000 beers per truckload, 20 ounce per beer, a nickel per ounce. So what we have, these cancel out. This cancels out. The ounces cancel out. Guess what we're left with? Dollar sign. So 5 times 1,000 times 20 times 0.05 is what? $5,000. Good math.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it's a little bit easier to see it, done that way. Now, so let's go back to this problem. How much would an application of Barricade 65 WDG cost for an 8,000 square foot home lawn if the labeled rate is 1 pound active ingredient per acre, and the Barricade cost us $39.95 per pound? Start with what we have to get with what we want. The 8,000 square foot lawn to the dollar sign. And here we set it up. We got our 8,000 square foot lawn. We're going to set up a column here. 1 acre is 43,560. That cancels out our square feet. 1 pound active ingredient per acre. The acres cancel out. 1 pound of Barricade is 0.65 pounds active ingredient. The pounds active ingredient cancel each other out. And it cost us $39.95 per pound. 1 pound of Barricade cancels out. So 8,000 times 1 times 1 times 1 times $39.95 is 319,600. 43,560 times 1 times 0.65 times 1 is 28,314. Divide this into that, and bingo. It cost us $11.28 per product to do this 8,000 square foot lawn. That's how much we're spending in the product itself. We still got to add our labor. We still got to add all that. But knowing exactly what our product cost is good to know. That helps us determine our price for every application. I even like taking it down further. I want to know what stuff costs per 1,000 square feet. Because all of our label rates that we get are in 1,000 square foot blocks. It always says per 1,000 square feet, per 1,000 square feet. So I want to know exactly what that 1,000 square foot cost me. And when we get a phone call and a customer wants an estimate, we can determine really, really quick if we've got a spreadsheet that's saying for each product that we use, what it is per 1,000 square feet. Product alone. If we can come up and figure out what our labor rate and our overhead is per 1,000 square feet, we can do a lawn care estimate really, really quick. And when it comes to lawn care estimates, if you're meeting them on site, you need to be able to spit that program out on a computer in your truck and give it to them right then and there. If not, they're going to have time to think about it. They may not go for it, or they may call someone else. And I'm just as guilty of it myself, not doing the estimate right then and there. It's different if it's a big landscape job, but lawn care and mowing, you need to be able to give them that price right then and there and get that signature and get them on the schedule. All right. Any questions on this? And the state of North Carolina says that every 50 minutes of lecture that we take a 10-minute break. So I'm got around 7:54. If you guys want to jump on, just keep everything open and we'll start back up about 4 minutes after, and we will build this lawn care program. Sound good?
I'm great.
All right. I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. James, being from Winston, did you know Mark Anders? He used to own Sharp Edge Lawn Care, and he kind of faded away from lawn care and went into organic farming.
I can't say that I did.
Okay.
Not at all.
Yeah, him and his wife both got COVID, and he passed away last Thursday with it. She came out. She pulled through, man, but he did not make it. Man, that was kind of heartbreaking hearing that from. I knew Mark. I graduated high school with him.
Yeah, that's a real tragedy. I've been hearing stories like that a lot.
Yep. Anybody going to the GIE this year? Louisville, Kentucky, October 20th. It's the worst time of year for them to have that, but it is the biggest, man, that is the best trade show ever. Two and a half days. You get to test drive any equipment that you want. It's like 30 acres indoor, or no, 15 acres indoors, 30 outside demo area.
Sounds
All
like
right.
fun.
It is fun. It is fun. But it's like you're so wore out, man. I mean, walking, I mean, all you do is walk and you still don't get to see everything that you want to see because there's so much.
They have all dealers there.
Yeah, just about every dealer in the world would be there.
And you said Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, ma'am. October 20th through the 22nd or 23rd this year. It always starts on a Wednesday at 3:00. The trade show opens up and it runs till 7, and then it's all day Thursday and then half a day on Friday.
I've only ever been to basketball games in Louisville. I hadn't ever been to one of the trade shows there.
Yeah. But that fairgrounds is unreal.
The last time I went to Louisville, Kentucky, I came back with a travel trailer in a snowstorm.
In the snowstorm?
Absolutely. Came back with a travel trailer. Me and my wife, we drove over there and picked up a brand new travel trailer.
Oh.
And it was during the wintertime.
That's some rough driving from Louisville. If you came in the wintertime.
Yeah, it is. It really was. It was scary. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right, everybody back. Tim, can you hear me? Mr. Earp.
Yes, sir.
What's your license number?
Hold on a minute. I'll get it for you.
All right. Kathy, what's yours? You know yours off the top of head?
Yes, sir. It's 026-8174.
8174. And I don't, Logan, you're not here, are you? I think he jumped off.
Did you guys do a new version of Zoom since I was in class?
Zoom updated, like it's been a couple weeks ago, but when I logged in, it says we are updating it, and so
that's why I had trouble getting on today. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, this is Tim.
All right, Tim.
It's 038.
038.
Yeah, 15129.
15129.
Yes, sir.
All right. And if y'all don't mind me asking, who texted me right before class started? 704 area code?
That's me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. So you did get the email leak because you're on, but usually about 10 minutes before class, I'll resend out the link to click on. So sorry about that.
That's okay. Good to know.
All right. Y'all ready to do some money talking?
Hey,
Eric.
Yes,
Eric.
sir. Yes, sir.
This is Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, I just want to know the guys that's going to, speaking of calibration and guys getting tired, we've moved over to the stand on, the Z sprays, the Skag turf storms, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Versus the skid sprayers. I just want to know, what you guys' take on it.
I love those stand up sprayers. We had one years ago. But I'll have to admit our guys did not take care of it. And we had one guy set up, and that's all he did was spray, fertilize, and everything, and they never took care of it. And so it's still sitting in the back of my shop. And if I started doing it again, I'll definitely get one. But I mean, you're 100% right. Those cut down on fatigue. It's the way to do it. So which one did you get?
We've got 3. We've got the 60-gallon Skag turf storm because the Z sprays were out. We've got a 30-gallon, the intermediate Z spray, and then we've got a smaller one that'll fit through a 36-inch gate.
Cool.
So we went strictly to that outside. The only thing we spray with a skid sprayer is anything that we just can't get to, type of deal. And it's worked out good for us. So I was just wondering, how many contractors we're going to that, but it's worked out good for our company. So
cool. Do you like the Skag?
Yeah, so far we've had it a couple months. We sprayed with it. They make it's pretty much the Z Max. They pretty much copied what Z Spray done.
Gotcha.
But it's good. We do some sports fields and stuff like that, so it's worked out good for that.
Where are you guys located?
Randleman.
Okay, cool. Good deal. Anybody else use them?
I don't want to get fat. No.
Do I?
That's my excuse for not being able to get one.
That was kind of me a few years back. I'd always gain that winter weight, and as soon as it came time to push spreaders, man, it didn't take long to to get the Christmas weight off. But I need to push more. I need to push a whole lot more nowadays. This paperwork ain't good. Anyway, let's do this math. We got 5,000 lawns. 5,000 lawns. And we're going to be generic on this because if, technically we should know the square footage of every property that we have. And I take that, the digital plot. Y'all seen that? I bought one of those things, and that thing is awesome. You connect your phone to it, and you just push it around, and it'll give you your square footage right there on site. But we should know our square footage for every single property. But let's say we live in Raleigh, and we're going into these, identical neighborhoods where there are 8,320 square feet in each yard. How many total square foot of turf are we managing right there? 5,000 times 8,320 square feet. We got quite a bit of turf right there. We got 41,600,000.
Oh, God.
That's a lot of turf, ain't it?
Oh, it sure is.
That is a lot of turf. And when you see what this product bill is for the year, you're going to be like, oh, my God. But let's look back at our soil test when we're doing those, late December, early January, and we're paying for them. I'd rather give the money to Site One and get those back really, really quick, because now you even got to pay for them at the state. NC State charges now for them, but they cost us $16.95. If we did a soil test for each customer, now we don't necessarily have to do one every single year for each customer, but let's say we're going to do it this year. We're going to get everybody up to par and get a soil test for everybody to have it in our software system. How much are we going to spend on soil testing? Just the soil test itself.
For the 5,000 lawns.
For the 5,000 lawns. And it costs $16.95 per soil test. So we're going to take in a lot of sandwich bags to Site One.
$84,750.
$84,750. So that's a good little chunk of change, right?
Yep.
Site One would love to see us in January with that.
Right, there's a deal on some seed.
Get some deal, yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Has anyone ever heard of Heritage Landscape Supply?
No.
Heritage, like they've got like 1,500 stores, and they're they're just trying to really, really grow. I think they're more popular out west, but I've heard they're kind of like moving out this way. So that would be like a big competitor for Site One. Somebody of that many stores.
Do you use Agri Supply for anything?
We have in the past, yeah.
I finally found the rye seed.
Oh, did you? They had it?
Yeah, they had it. Yeah. It's getting scarce again, though. The seeds getting hard to find.
Yep. Everything's getting hard to find. Concrete pipe, everything. I mean, it's just unreal. The work's there. The jobs are selling, but we can't get the product. So we got 84,750 for soil test. We're going to lime, and let's say that, you know, every yard is going to at least take the one bag. But how many square footage are we getting out of our lime?
10,000.
12, it was 12.5, I believe.
No, let's see.
No, I'm sorry, not lime. That was the,
That was
he was right. That was the pre-emergent.
Yep. We're getting 10,000 square feet out of the CalTurf Pro. So let's take our 41,600,000 total square foot of turf. We're going to divide it by 10,000 square feet. So how many bags are we going to need?
Divided by how many?
5,000.
10,000. Because each property is going to take at least the bag, because we got 8,320. So if we figure our 41,600,000, how many bags of lime are we going to need to get? 4,160. If we figure a bag per yard.
Mm-hmm.
It cost us $15. How much money are we spending on lime?
$62,400.
Yep. So right off the bat, January, February, with that many yards, we're spending almost $150,000 in product. It's not a bad January, February, is it? The only real months that we slow down in North Carolina. What about our first pre-emergent? We're going to do the 1706. Costs $22 a bag. It gives us 12,500 feet of coverage. So if we got 41,600,000 divided by 12,500, that'll give us our number of bags, and it costs $22 a bag.
33.28 in bags. Is that right?
Let's see. I'm doing it right now. 41 million. Divided by 12. Yeah. How many did you get?
33.28.
Yep.
And then $22 a bag for that.
Yep.
73,216.
Yep. $73,216 that it's going to cost us for product in that first round. Well, if we look at the second round, we get the same square footage, right?
Yep. Same thing.
Same thing, same price.
Mm-hmm.
So two rounds of pre-emergent is 73,216 each.
Mm-hmm.
$146,432.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Lawn care is a lot of money to be made. And for some reason, it's something that people will spend the money for that. We have people that'll mow their own yard, but hire us to plug and seed and do the fertility apps. We got a doctor we work for, and his enjoyment on the weekends, he's like, man, I love getting out here. And he bought like a 36-inch walk behind. And he said, that is my stress relief on Saturday mornings.
Does he pay you one time? Doctors never pay on time.
This one does, but yes, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's harder to get money out of richer people than it is the common folks.
Sure is.
Common folks want to pay their bills.
Mm-hmm.
Rich people have money because they hang on to it.
So true.
Oh, I'm like, you pay your power bill like that, your power would have been cut off.
Yeah. And I almost look at lawn care and mowing. And that's the one thing I learned from the lawn care millionaire. He's talking about, he's like, when you go out to eat, what do? He said, you leave the table and you walk up to the cash register and you pay. He's like, shouldn't we charge like that when we render a service to a client? So when we mow their yard, shouldn't we be able to charge their credit card? And so he developed Service Autopilot Pro, which does that. He's like, as soon as we finish the job, we give the customers like a 1% discount if they enter their credit card. And as soon as we finish the job, it bills it and charges. It's a genius. Because the one thing I hate doing is billing. For some reason, and I should enjoy that. I should enjoy collecting money and seeing money come in. But sitting down at the computer that long, it just drives me crazy. It doesn't take long to do it electronically, but I hate the customers that will not give us an email address and we got to lick a stamp in an envelope. That's the one thing I can't stand. But some people would just like, nope, I'm not giving you my email. You can bill us. Here's my cell phone and here's our mailing address. All right, summertime. 1537, we can get 10,000 square feet per bag. It's $20 a bag. What does product cost us? So again, the 41,600,000 divided by 10,000 square feet. And it cost us $20.
Okay, that's the same as the Lime application, I believe. So 4160. You said CalTurf Pro, right?
Yep, but the CalTurf Pro is $15.
The CalTurf Pro was 20 and the Lime was 15, right?
CalTurf Pro was 15 and the SoluCal was 50.
Okay, there you go.
And the summer app, it's the same square footage, 10,000. Yep. So yeah, 4,160, but we multiply it by $20. It's $20 a bag for the 1537.
So 83.2, I believe.
Yep.
I believe. Okay.
$83,200.
Yep.
So to date, what is the most expensive thing we're paying for?
Soil test.
Soil test. Yep. And that takes some time, to actually go out and take the samples and bag them up, label it the correct way so that we get the right results back.
I charge nothing for soil tests.
Why?
This will change. This will change.
Yes, it's another app. It is another app to charge.
I wasn't treating it like that.
You show up and you do the sampling and take it to site one or mail it to the state. It takes time. All right, fall seeding. I meant to get my book. It's still in the Jeep with that current price, but 1824.12. Let's say we've got $20 a bag. We can get 12,500 square feet with actually 12,000. So we got 12,000 square feet. And the 41,600,000.
34.67 at 12,000 square feet.
What'd you get, Kathy?
34.67
That's right.
bags.
Yep.
Okay, how much do you say that was a bag?
It was $20 last year at this time.
Okay. So
And it's almost doubled now.
so $20 would make it 69,340.
Yep. And we're pushing closer to 40. So if we multiplied that by 2,
Wow,
yeah,
that's a
100
lot of money.
140, that would be 140,000 this time. Now, here's the thing. If we go up on our customers, because we need to charge that to them, like we can't eat that cost. And when I was talking to Site One a couple of weeks ago, they're like, Eric, we're trying to work out shipping. We're trying to, with fuel going up and shipping it to all our stores. He said, we're trying to negotiate with our, manufacturers on how much it's going to cost us. And they're like, we don't know yet. So that's why we can't give you bulk pricing. We'll have to price it, out the door in one bag at a time. And it was almost double. So I was doing my best to get by there today on the way in, but it's was just too much. And then my oldest daughter, she called and said, Dad, I'm in a car wreck. So I had to fly over there and get her out of that. Somebody plowed into her.
Oh, for me.
Hope she was okay.
She was okay. She's still, crying over it and stuff because she don't have a car right now. But I'm like, sweetie, I mean, it wasn't your fault. It's just one of those things. It's life.
It's a hard lesson for a kid, but
Yeah.
it's stuff. It's stuff, and it can be replaced.
Yes. Yep.
Mm.
And then her boyfriend broke up with her like 3 or 4 days ago. So she is just,
Man,
she is miserable.
terrible.
Mercy.
We're like, yes, he broke up with you because we did not like you.
Yeah. Wait for the next one. You'll be wishing he was back.
To what?
Wait for the next one. You'll be wishing he was
Oh,
back.
I know. Well, he'll be back, I'm sure, in a week or two. That's just them. They've been like that for 2 years. It's like date a month, break up for a week, start dating again. I got 4 girls and a boy. The boy gives us no trouble.
Spoken like a true dad, girl dad.
And he'll look at me sometimes. He's like, I'm miserable. I'm here with 5 women, including mom.
Oh, that's funny.
And my wife says, I know why you get up at 4:30 every morning and leave and go to the office. I don't want to be around them trying to get ready for school and stuff. Nope. All right. Seeding. Seed, we can get 10,000 square feet. So again, we're going to need 4,160 bags. And it's $80 a bag, which right now it's a little bit more, but for this project, $80. How much money are we going to spend?
332,800.
Yep. That's a healthy
We
check.
are loaded.
Huh?
I said we are loaded.
We are loaded. No, we're scared. We don't want to walk out to the mailbox and get that invoice from Site One. Nowadays, I don't know. We're starting to get like emails from the postal service that tells us what's in our mailbox.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is a good thing. You can always see if that check's in there, and you're like calling people. You said you mailed that last week. We ain't got it today.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I don't have that.
But then, like, you can see all the bills that you got coming in.
This is just product. We have no labor involved yet.
Yes, exactly. This is just materials.
Ooh.
And let's look at our fall one, our winter. So our winter application, we can get 14,000 square foot per bag, and it's $18. So the 41,600,000 divided by 14,000.
2972.
Yep. Times $18.
53,496. So add that to what we've already got. We already had over $750,000 in product. Then you got to add that to the product list. That's, if I got it right, about 832,000.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Wow.
Now, that is our cost for the product.
Mm-hmm.
Are we in return passing that savings on? Because we're buying it at wholesale. That's wholesale pricing. Are we charging that back to the customer? Or are we charging them retail? Because think about this. Think about this. With all of this product, we're calculating, we're doing what we're doing right now. We're spending the time doing that every probably December, trying to figure out what we're going to spend the following year. We're taking that time doing that. We're making the orders. We're either going to take our equipment and pick it up or have Site One deliver it. We take our equipment, unload it, put it in storage, and then hand load it on to the truck. Look at how many times we possibly have to touch that product before we even use it.
It's terrible.
Yes. So we need to charge, the retail price for this product in our applications. And so what is our discount? Is it 20? I mean, are we getting 20% off of it from retail? I actually got on Amazon Prime the other night to see what 18/24/12 cost. And it was $80-some a bag on Amazon. That helps us. Why does that help us? Because what's the first thing people look? Where they look for stuff? They're Amazoning it. They're like, how much does that cost? Or they're like, hey, Alexa, how much does 18/24/12 cost? So when we did this class a few weeks ago, we come up that we probably need to be charging, 30 to 40% of what we're paying for this back to the customer because of the handling it, the storage, loading it back on our truck. So we got to charge for that within the product and then come up with our per app price. So we got our total cost of around 832,000, right? What's 40% of that? Well, let's just say we did 30%. 302. We're just rounding it off 832,000 times 0.30. That's another 250,000. Plus the 832. So that puts us 1,081,600 in product.
So does everybody average about 30% markup on that?
I'd say that's probably the lowest we'd need to go.
That's what I thought. That sounds low to me.
Yeah. And what if we did 40? So we did 832 times 40%. That's 332,800. Add it back to the 832. That's 1,164,800. And that pays for the time of figuring out what it is we need, the delivery, the unloading it, the loading it on the trucks, the storage. Because we have to charge them for that.
Mhm. Yes.
So we said, so we got the 1,164,800,000. All right, so that is our total product cost. We've got 5,000 lawns. We're doing 7 applications for each lawn. So that's 35,000 trips. That is 35,000 visits. So if we take our 1,164,000 divide by 35,000, that gives us an average of $33.28. Well, tell you what, let's
I'm sorry, where did the 35,000 come from? I just got lost for a second.
the visits, the 35 visits. Let's back out. Let's back out the seed. So what did we get for seeding? So we had a total of 832. So let's minus out the 332,800 because seeding, I think, should be, I like keeping that separate.
I do too.
And not everybody is going to plug and seed. So that gives us that's $499,200 in application cost. And so let's do 40% of that. It's $199,680. Add back to it $499,200. So that's $698,880 in app cost. And if we divide that by 35,000 trips, that gives us $19.97 average cost. So let's say $19.97. We'll round it up to $20. Okay. And I am looking back just to make sure. Well, the one thing, we got $22 a bag on the. So that is an average. That is an average. The one thing people like with their lawn care program is they want to see this price for this, the same price for the next visit, the same price. They don't want to see $67 and then $75, then $88. They'd rather see $80, $80, $80, $80 every time we come out for a fertility app. And we didn't even think about if we had to put out a fungicide or if we had to put out insecticide. This is just fertility. This is just food. So if our average cost is $20 in product, how many yards? We got 8,320 square feet. How many yards per hour can one technician do at that rate? You guys know your employees. What are they capable of doing? If it's in the same neighborhood, I'd say they can probably knock a few out an hour. Is it safe to say they could do 4? Could they do 5? There's where we kind of come up with that labor rate and adding it to this $20 in cost of product. Let's even take it a step further. We're saying that we've got, so if we divided 8320. Let's break it down into 1,000 square foot. How much would that cost us? So we're spending about $2.50 per 1,000 square feet for food, for fertility. But let's figure out what we should charge per app on these yards. 83.20 average square foot. If we're spending $20 in product, what is a good price to charge them?
How'd you come up with $2 per 1,000 product?
Right? I'm like so lost.
I took all right, so I set up the formula. I put 83.20 over $20 because it's $20 in product for an 8,320 square foot lawn. And then I did equal signs and I put 1,000 over an X. So if I'm doing 1,000 square feet, what is my product cost? So that will be X, and then do cross multiplication. So 83.20 into 20,000 when you cross multiplied.
650 to 750 per 1,000.
Yeah. I like where you're going with that. So you're saying 650, right? Per 1,000 square feet.
At least 2.5 times. I mean,
Yep. And so what would that, what's that, what is that at 8,320, Brandon?
$54. $54 for the 8,000.
For the 8320 yard.
Yep.
And that's at 2.5 times, right?
That's right.
What if we push it up to 3 times?
Probably somewhere around $64.
And that's where I would want to be. I'd want to be around $65.
You're at $65 per 1,000?
No. For the yard,
No.
for the
Okay, that's
8,320.
what was throwing me off. Okay.
Yeah, $65 per the 8,000, which is going to put you somewhere around $7.50 per 1,000.
Yep.
That's how we always do it. We try to figure out what we are material wise, and then we try to 2.5, 3 times whatever that is.
Yeah.
And that's what we charge.
Yep. So I like that $65. Now, generate 65 times 35,000 visits. you're pushing some bucks right there. A little over 2.25 million with 5,000 yards. And that's not even adding seeding and aeration.
No, and right now you need to be $25. My opinion, you need to be $25 per thousand on seeding. The way seed is at this point.
25. And that's just on the plug-in and seeding itself, or is that just the seed?
Yeah, that's the plug in the seed. I mean, that's kind of where we're at with
Really?
the way seed has been. I mean, I don't know what everybody else is at, but that's where we're kind of at right now.
We're a little bit more than that. What's everybody else getting right now? Because it's just around the corner. Now is the time to figure that price.
So with the 6 applications at $35 per stop, you're only making $390 a year off of that yard?
Okay, so what now?
It's six applications we figured out.
7.
Figuring that the soil test is an application.
I got 7 apps times 65,
I had
455
$455 a year.
for 7 visits.
That sounds
that's
way
not-
cheap to me.
That's not including plugging and seeding though. But think about it. If you're and Tiffany, that's just fertility.
I
That
know.
is just the fertility. You still got to add in if you have to do a fungicide treatment, insecticide treatment, broadleaf weed application. There's
Yeah, if you get into fungicide, you're double that.
yes. Yep. And some people go ahead and do a preventative fungicide. They go ahead and add that. So they'd be doing 8 steps. So it's how you want to tailor it, how you wanted to tailor your yards. But we looked at what, $2.25 million with 5,000 lawns that were generating income, and we were having product cost of 800,000. Not too bad. Not too bad. What is the best thing about having a lawn care business? What's the easiest thing to do it? When you build it up to 5,000 lawns, what can you do with it in the drop of a hat?
Sell it.
Sell it.
Run away.
Anybody know Tony Bass? Anybody heard the name Tony Bass? Bass Custom Landscapes, Super Lawn Trucks. Tony's a good friend of mine. I've known him a long time. And Tony says in his book that he wrote with Michael Gerber, the E-Myth landscape contractor, he said, the only reason that anybody would start a landscape company is to sell it one day. I'm starting to think a lot more like that. I thought I would never even think that. But with today's employee situation, it seems like it is just a little bit easier that you could, yep, who wants it? Make me an offer and retire. But lawn care is one of the easiest things to sell, your lawn care division. That's why I would have it set up as a company within the company. It needs to be its own little entity. That way you can break it off real quick and easy.
Eric, we do a little bit of everything. We do, turf, we do maintenance, we do irrigation service.
Yep.
Landscape install, and our turf division is the most profitable thing we do.
Yep.
Hands down.
Yep. And it's probably the least amount of headaches, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
Yep. Very few callbacks. Customers are happy. They're not complaining, and they can throw down $65-$70 for an application 7-8 times a year.
Well, they'll pay for that versus Mobo and Go, where you charge them $65 and they jump up and down. They'll pay for the turf apps and not say a whole lot.
Yep.
So that's what I figured out in my years in doing it.
You're 100% right. But the idea here is to show you how to do this and tailor your program. Everybody's going to, depending on where you're at, you're going to have, different apps. If you're a warm season client, you're not going to have as many. But there's other things that need to be done with warm season grasses. Probably everybody here is tall fescue, cool season. And I love it.
We're 100% Bermuda or 100% warm season.
Bill, where are you at?
We're down on the coast.
Okay. What part?
Emerald Isle area.
Okay.
Jacksonville, Morehead City.
I love tall fescue for the number one reason we get to plug and seed it every year. The money maker. Any questions? Comments, concerns?
Can anybody tell me about Centipede versus St. Augustine for the coastal grass yards? Is there, you got a preference?
I think St. Augustine's better myself, but I've dealt with Centipede. St. Augustine seems to grow so thick, it just chokes everything out and does so good on its own. I mean, I've never grown it myself, but from what I've experienced visiting people and seeing their properties.
St. Augustine, you if you're looking at it from a cost standpoint, it's more expensive to maintain. Turf apps are more expensive, but if you're looking at it from the landscaper side, you make more money on a St. Augustine property than you will on a Centipede. Because Centipede, you're doing half the fertilizer. So a bag of fertilizer, you're putting it out a half. You can't go more than a half pound 1,000. Whereas your Bermudas, St. Augustine, any of that, you're putting out a pound 1,000. So your per 1,000 square foot price is a lot less. That's what I was trying to figure out with you guys. Your $700 to $750 per 1,000 price. That's what our prices are averaging in that. But we're 100% commercial. We don't do individual homes. So it's going to drive the price down a little bit. But we're in that $650 range, and that's including our post apps.
Okay. Thank you.
But the St. Augustine looks better too, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a much better grass, but you're going to find more Centipede yards than you will St. Augustine's, unfortunately.
Well, I'm thinking the sod. We've tried Centipede and we're having trouble getting it to even live. And the St. Augustine I've seen in some yards around looks a lot better. That's why I was asking. Thank you guys.
Just go Zoysia, like Brian says. I agree with him.
Yeah.
Zoysia.
Although it'll kill your mower.
Out in California, they mow Zoysia about 2 or 3 times a year, and that's it.
My neighbor's got a Zoysia yard, and he asked me to mow it. I'm like, it sounds like it's going to kill it.
All righty. Any other questions? What'll happen now is as soon as I log off, I'll go ahead and enter everyone's pesticide license on the Department of Ag's website. They give me a username and password, and I'll load it up by the course code, and you should see it on your license 5 to 7 days from now. they're getting a little bit quicker now that, COVID's coming back strong, but they only had one agent in the office down in Raleigh during the quarantine period. So it was taking them, about 10 days to get to it and get it loaded. So I think now it's around 5 to 7. So let's hope it don't come back and we're all trapped inside again. So that's the scary part about the GIE this year. They canceled it last year and they did it virtually. And Kentucky, though, is kind of like one of the tougher states. They are mandating the mask and a lot of stuff. So I could see them saying it's canceled again, but fingers crossed. Anybody want to join me on the radio any morning? Turfs Up Radio. Please tell me y'all know what Turfs Up Radio is.
I listen all the time.
You're kidding, right?
I am, but I will now since I've heard of it.
Turfs Up Radio. We got an app. You can ask Alexa or you can stream it from your computer. But this coming Valentine's Day, we will be 2 years old. It's 2 or 3. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking it's just 2 years. No, it'll have to be 3. This coming Valentine's Day will be 3 years. We turned 2 last February 14th. But it's growing. We are growing. And we average about 10,000 listeners in the morning across the country. So it's fun. It's fun.
Turfs Up Radio.
Turfs Up Radio, turfsupradio.com, or you can ask Alexa to launch it. And just say, Alexa, launch Turfs Up Radio. I'm on every weekday morning, 7 to 8. So, and then Hecubus, he comes on right after me, 8 to 9.
I don't often mark in books, but sometimes I like to do so in reference books so that I know.
That's Hecubus right now. He does the evening show too.
Yeah. All right. I'll be tuning in.
Do it. And if any of you guys want to call in, it's fun when people call in. So we have a fun time.
You really do want to get away from those girls, don't you?
I try to get them to listen, but they're like, no, Dad, we're not listening to Turfs Up.
That's good. That's funny.
And the dogs are going crazy right now. Yeah. And speaking of one daughter, she's at her boyfriend's soccer game right now. And she's like, Dad, I don't have enough gas to make it there and back. I was like, I'm getting ready to do a class. Call me when the soccer game's over and I'll meet you at the gas station. Like, because you can't give them access to your debit card. There's no way they're,
Good move.
Yes. So I will meet you there, sweetheart. Just call me on the way. She's like, I know I can't make it to school tomorrow. So
you're going to have to hire an assistant, son. You can't keep this rate up.
I tried that once. They left like real quick. No, this is too much. So
I can laugh at you. I'm a boy mom.
I just have one brother, and mom and dad talk about like you guys are so easy to raise. Like, and Brent's got 5 kids too. He's got 3 older boys, and then they had 2 late in life. So he's got one. It's a sophomore in at UNCW, and then he's got a kindergartner. So they're stretched way out there, and he's about to wear himself out, man. He's got 2 young girls. He's a second grader and a kindergartner. So, like, no, dude, I'm glad all of ours are close together. They'll all be out of the house at the same time. So.
They're never leaving.
I know they won't. They never will they?
They're till they're 40, please.
Don't say that. No, they're always welcome. It's just like you need to get up and go to work and come back. That's okay. Just you got to leave 8 to 5. And none of them are interested in the green industry. None.
Right, good thing.
Yeah. They like the strawberry farm. They help with that. And And that's because all the people come to the farm and stuff. They like seeing people, but nothing to do with landscaping. So, but like I said, that's probably a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, that'll be the time to sell it because nobody wants to be in it. We'll just sell it. And, you know, guys, we sold it for very little money. So here's your portion of it. All right. Any other questions?
Eric, where do you see the fescue market going? Being fescues, where it's at? I mean, you got, a lot of contracts been bid out last year or beginning of this year, and now we got seed prices went up 40%. I mean, it's going to get crazy.
Yep.
And I've had my salesman, my chemical salesman, tell me that through Green and Site One that it is what it is, and you're going to see people cutting back. It's going to get crazy.
Yep. That 10,000 square foot bag might become a 5,000 square foot bag. Like you said, you bid it last year, and it's in your contract price. Those are the ones you're either going to have to eat, or you're going to have to kind of spot seed and just kind of wait and see what happens next year.
Well, in the future, don't include seed in the contract.
Yep. Don't include it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 100% agree with that. Same thing with pine needles too.
No, please. Why would you ever?
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes you get a little tiny bale. Sometimes no way. Yeah, I would never.
Well, and that's the first thing when you get a new client, they want you to jump in and pine needle right away, prune everything, and you have that expense right up front. And so we like keeping it out of the monthly contract price. And so that way, if they want it done 2 times a year, 3 times a year, they're paying for it. And it's kind of up to them versus, having it in the contract. So, and pine needles are scarce. I mean, they're kind of hard to find right now. You got to have a good source to get them.
All I'm hearing is that we all need to charge more.
Yes. Yes.
Sounds good.
Yep. I got one of my best friends is an electrician, and he said, Eric, we pull up to the job site. He said, I got a van with some hand tools in it. He said, I get 130 an hour.
Wow.
Look at what we pull up with.
Mm-hmm.
Just a mowing crew itself. You can have $100,000 in equipment.
I used to do interior, and I would have like a pickle bucket, a watering jug, a feather duster, and a scissor. And I'd walk into all these big places. I'm like, I keep saying I'm going to go back to that.
Yeah.
Doing the interior. It was like and you didn't get all gross and you're an AC.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And people love houseplants. Like that is a conversation piece. People always ask you, and I don't know. It seems like when you cut grass, they don't want to talk to you. So one of those things, and it's our fault. It is the green industry's fault, because look, we've only had a license. We've had a landscape contractor license now for 7 years. Electricians have been licensed since the 50s. So they're going on 70 plus years. We're going on 7 years of being a professional license. So it's our fault, that we didn't come together and form a license years ago and be able to charge more, for what we do. But the average age of an electrician right now is 56 years old. There's more licensed electricians over the age 80 than there are under 30. So here in 7 to 8 years, a major shortage of electricians. Major shortage. So more 80-year-old electricians than there are 30 and below.
Well, Eric, there's going to be a major shortage in anything skilled trade in the next 10 years, period.
Yes. Yep. Nobody wants to do it. Guys, I teach college. I got 3 college students that bring their moms to class. They have an ADA letter stating that their parent can come with them and help them take notes. 21, 22, 23-year-olds that can't function without mom and dad.
And remember when we had to be out by the age 18?
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Different world.
And it's sad. It's sad. And I don't know if it's the kids act normal, they look normal, but they have this accommodations letter that they got that says they have difficulty taking notes. And I'm like, and you want to run your own green industry business one day. Probably not going to happen. And I can't believe the number of students that are 25 years old and still don't have driver's license.
Wow.
Still ride the bus. They ride bikes to school. And at where our campus is located, I mean, it's a nice little drive around beside our greenhouses. You see parents drive up, drop the kids off for college. And they're talking about, hey, I'm 23 years old, 24 years old. And that's fine. But I mean, I got my license the day I turned 16, like my birthday.
Moved out the next month.
Yeah. And kids today don't want to drive. So. I don't know. Same thing with employees. We hire people with no driver's license and no checking account.
Yeah.
So,
every day.
Yep. They stay with you 2 or 3 weeks, and then you get the letter from the state saying they're behind on child support, and they've already gone. They know how long it takes.
What's this world coming to?
Not good. They say good times builds good people builds bad times build weak people. So it's a cycle. It is a cycle. And our nation's going to have to be on its knees before it's going to wake up and say, hey, we can do this and turn it around. And it's probably going to be I don't even know if it'd be my grandchildren. It'll probably be my great grandchildren that realizes, hey, America used to be great. And it's not. So this is the greatest country ever, but and we're sitting, I'm sitting here complaining about it, but I raised my kids. They're soft, all of them. So, my grandkids are going to be soft, and they're just not going to work for it. They expect everything to be given to them. So just 2 generations ago, look what was going on. People were dropping out of high school at 14 to go fight in World War II. They wouldn't do that today for nothing, would they?
Absolutely not.
No.
If we had a major world war, I don't know if we could find enough young men and women that would want to go fight. And back then, people did it, without question. At 14 years old, 15 years old, joining the Marines. Could you imagine going to Paris Island at 14, 15 years old?
Well, my husband was a military guy, and what I see now sickens me at the way the country is, but it can be turned around. We've done it before. My dad was a World War II veteran, one of the greatest generation, and I have very little patience for what you were talking about.
Yes, yeah. And it was 3 years ago. I guess it'd be 3 years. But I retired Army Reserve. It'll be either 3 or 4 years this November. I can't remember. But I joined in 1992 and got out, like I said, 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember, but I know it was just November. And I'd be on post, and we'd go to Fort Jackson, which is a basic training base, and the troops would stop outside the chow hall and be on their cell phone. Basic trainees. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And as a soldier, taking your phone, and they have timeout cards. They can pull their timeout card and say, drill sergeant, I can't do this. I need a break. And they have to say, go over there and sit down. It's okay. Like when I went through, they could still punch you in the stomach. So
we need to bring back the beatings.
yes. But that just blew my mind. Cell phones, like, oh well. All right, guys, y'all ready to wrap it up?
Yep, had fun.
Thank you. I did too, guys. You are awesome, and I'll get this recorded, and y'all see your credits here in a few days.
Thanks,
All
Eric.
All right, see you guys.
Until
Take care.
next time.
See
Thank
you.
you, Eric.
See y'all.
Thank you, Eric.
See ya.
Thank you.